People are waking up. Finally. Donald Trump, the most unpopular president in American history, is running out of places to hide from that reality. And for all his bluster after the 2024 election, all that fantasy world chest-thumping about some sweeping cultural mandate, as if the country had embraced him like a conquering hero, we always knew it was nonsense. Now, his own former cheerleaders are admitting it out loud. People who once defended him like it was a religion, people like Joe Rogan, are suddenly discovering that Trump is, in fact, a criminal, and Rogan just torched him in a video that is exploding everywhere. It's a scandal. It's ugly, and we're going to get into every piece of it. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already and you enjoy the channel, hit that subscribe button because it really does go a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Rogan tearing Trump apart and taking Kristi Noem with him on the way down, we need to start with why this blow-up happened at all. And the answer is simple. Donald Trump's grotesque, immoral, and entirely illegal ICE attacks. His administration's latest stunt is so cruel, so vindictive, and so wildly unpopular that even the most loyal MAGA voices are running for cover. Jasmine Crockett called out the whole thing, the ICE abuses, the hypocrisy dripping off every mention of the Epstein scandal, and the pile of backward, deeply unpopular legislation these clowns keep ramming through Congress. She laid it out cleanly in this clip right here.
I want to make sure that I enter this UC, which is one of the reasons that we are a bit skeptical of any immigration, quote unquote, enforcement laws that y'all are trying to pass. This UC is from The Guardian. It says, immigrants with no criminal record now largest group in ICE detention. You know, I listened to Mr. Van Drew.
Without objection.
Thank you so much. I listened to Mr. Van Drew, who I do respect. And he went on and on and on about how this is about the bad guys. And I will be honest with you and tell you that when it came down to the election, there were a lot of people who really believed that the Republicans and the president were all about getting the bad guys out. People truly believed your words, but your actions are not matching up because I've got the receipts showing that they are not matching up. And so call us a little paranoid in believing that the hypocrisy may continue to come from across the aisle. Speaking of hypocrisy, I do want to point out, since we're talking about Jeffrey Epstein, because we couldn't talk about Epstein before. If y'all recall, we were gone for about 2 months because we couldn't talk about Jeffrey Epstein. And now everybody wants to act as if they want to have like a real honest conversation about the victims and the survivors and everybody else. Where was this conversation a long time ago? And I know that y'all love to go back and say that Joe Biden didn't do it. You know, Joe Biden is blamed for everything. Joe Biden didn't do anything and it was Joe Biden's fault. And why wasn't Joe Biden? Joe Biden didn't campaign on it. I just want to be clear. If y'all can run me the tape, then run me the tape. But you know, when you campaign and you go out and you make a promise, then we evaluate whether or not you actually meet your promises. So listen, this was rope that y'all decided to hang yourselves with because the president campaigned on the Epstein files while we were campaigning on things such as affordability. We were campaigning on the things that now people are complaining about, right? Because of the tariffs and the fact that you guys won't say anything and tell the president, hey, sir, tariffs are taxes. We as Republicans, we usually don't like taxes. And guess what? That's gonna make everything unaffordable. So now he's gonna be our big savior and he is gonna reduce the price of foods because he is the guy that actually increased the price of foods. So listen, if you can have this honest conversation about Epstein now, let's just go ahead with this lame duck president and be honest about everything that the American people care about. They care about affordability. They care about the fact that literally people are starving in this country because we have 42 million people, and I don't remember any one of you during that almost 2-month break deciding to go on faux news or any other news outlet and say, you know what, it is wrong to have 42 million people that are relying on $6 a day to eat, and we have the money.
It is important to recognize something the Beltway press still tiptoes around. It's not just that Donald Trump is unpopular, it's that MAGA as a whole is profoundly uncool. Nobody wants to sit at their lunch table. You remember the early Trump-era propaganda push That weird cultural delusion the right clung to, young people are getting more conservative. It's cool to be conservative now. Right? Sure. Nothing says cool like Stephen Miller's haunted ventriloquist dummy energy, Kristi Noem's Botox on a private jet tour, or J.D. Vance's permanent grimace of moral constipation. These people are not charismatic, they're not dynamic, they're not even interesting villains, they're just corrosive, the political equivalent of mildew. The aesthetics of this administration alone could clear a room. Those bizarre posts, they pump out Trump in a fake crown, haloed in cheap Photoshop light, the whole Dear Leader routine, it's cult cosplay for people who think emotional stability is optional. It's grotesque. It's embarrassing. And for once, the culture at large is recoiling exactly as it should. That's what Joe Rogan and comedian Theo Von are finally waking up to. Two guys who, not long ago, hosted Trump on their shows, laughed along, acted like proximity to him wasn't the political equivalent of secondhand smoke. Rogan was downright friendly back then. Vaughn, too. But now, Vaughn is livid because the DHS decided to swipe a clip of him for their propaganda mill. And with that context in place, we get to watch him and Rogan finally go off. DHS deportations video featuring comedian Theo Von is taken down after he complained. Podcaster Theo Von called out the Department of Homeland Security for using footage of him to tout deportations in a video that since appears to have been removed from the DHS's account on the social media platform Twitter. The short video posted on DHS's account on Tuesday featured Von saying, "Heard you got deported, dude. Bye." And of course, him and Rogan were furious about this and talked about it on their latest episode.
Dude, they made me the video thing. You see that thing where they put it on the video?
Oh, that was crazy. They didn't even ask you.
Bro, it was really scary for me.
You were just joking around because you were talking to a guy who's his friend. And this was quite a while ago, too, right? When was that video?
Yeah, I don't know. I it could have been like a year and a half ago or something. I don't remember. But that was crazy.
But it was
like,
it was a joke,
yeah,
right?
She's like a friend. I don't know if she said a friend of mine got deported. I can't remember what she said. But she's like, "What? Do you have anything to say to him?" Right? And I was like, "Bye." You know?
Yeah.
I'm clowning around. I have no idea if it's real or not. I have no idea.
You have no idea. It's literally someone just handed you a phone, and then Homeland Security, was that what it was?
Yeah, just put it up online. And it was
it
after the
Homeland
Charlie
Security?
Kirk thing. Yeah. And so then I was like super scared, you remember? Yeah. Remember, I was texting like you. I was just texting people to make sure everybody's okay. I didn't know if they were like just going to kill people that had been on TikTok or whatever. Like, I had no idea what they were going to do.
I just can't believe they did that with you, where they just put it in there as if like you were endorsing that.
Well, it just kind of, and it was just a scary time. That was the same time as
Who
after the Charlie Kirk thing.
That? Who greenlit that?
Probably just some fucking trap beat,
but you know
con
what I'm
artist
saying?
or whatever.
Like if a company did that, you could sue them. You know what I'm saying? Like if it was privatized, like if ICE was a private company, and that was the people that the United States hired to get rid of illegal immigrants, and they used you, you would sue them. You could sue them.
Well, it was just scary.
But the government can just put that up there. And then what did you do? You had to formally request them taking it down?
Yeah, I had to hire an attorney to get him help to take it down.
How long did it take to take it down?
I think like 48 hours or something. But it had like 30 million views over a couple platforms.
And how many people even know it was taken down until they just heard you say it?
Of course not.
I knew because you told me, but I couldn't believe it. When you first asked me what I should do about this, I was like, it's probably nothing. And I was in the car, and I didn't watch it. And then I got to the club. Then I talked to you from the club. And you're like, you didn't see it? I was like, no. And then I saw it. I was like, oh, my God. What the fuck are they doing? Like, it's like, that's not how you envisioned the government. The government made a hype video?
Yeah, they were making like deportation hype videos with trap beats and shit. And I was like, what are we doing? That's what I'm saying. Everything is turned into like the WWE. It's none of it's real.
It's 100% that Mike Judge movie. It's Idiocracy.
Oh, Idiocracy, yeah.
Yeah.
My main question is this. How are they just now getting this? What neuron finally fired? What overdue spark lit the bulb? And honestly, it's exhausting and disappointing that so many of these people, Marjorie Taylor Greene being the patron saint of this syndrome, can't recognize their own political movement's damage until it burns them personally. No empathy, no foresight, just a smoke alarm that only goes off when the flames reach their own curtains. But Rogan and Vaughn do land on something real here. the sheer loserness of this government. These guys are losers. Not in the metaphorical we disagree politically way, but in the literal this is what happens when the AV Club coup actually succeeds way. And we do not talk about that enough, how obsessively insecure these people are. Fox spent an entire week demanding that AOC correct the record because she said Stephen Miller looked 5'9" instead of 5'10". A grown man in the White House, desperately needing strangers to acknowledge the extra inch. That's how brittle this crowd is. And this isn't new. One after Trump was sworn in back in 2017, he started whining about the size of his inaugural crowd. Most presidents lead. This one counted heads like a kid who didn't get invited to enough birthday parties. That's the core of MAGA, a movement built out of everybody who walked out of the metaphorical locker they got shoved into in high school and straight into the West Wing with the same chip on their shoulder, the same resentments, the same I'll show you energy. They've dragged that grievance around like a security blanket and now want to wrap the rest of us in it. But here's the part they can't stand. We don't give a damn about them. Sure, we hate what they do, the cruelty, the rot, the extremist nonsense, but we don't care about them. Their weird idol worship photos of Trump and J.D. Vance, the faux tough guy cosplay, the try-hard branding. It's all so desperately performative. And Rogan and Vaughn, of all people, are finally diagnosing it. The neediness, the insecurity, the constant posing. This administration isn't just corrupt, it's cringe. Pete Hegseth slapping a Department of War sign on the Pentagon and doing fake pull-ups instead of, overseeing a multi-trillion-dollar defense budget is a perfect example. It's theater, bad theater. Community college production of Macbeth theater. And frankly, we should be calling this garbage out more because it's not just harmful, it's deeply annoying. It's juvenile, it's pathetic. It's a government pretending to be something it isn't, trying to impress the one guy whose approval means anything to them, and still failing spectacularly. And here's the punchline. Debasing yourself for Donald Trump doesn't actually work. It never has. Which brings us to Texas, where one of the biggest losers in the Republican ecosystem, Greg Abbott, just watched his own gerrymandering scheme blow up in his face. And the person who always has Trump's number broke it down with the precision of someone who doesn't need to raise her voice to slice a man in half, Jasmine Crockett. You're going to want to hear what she had to say.
As of maybe an hour ago, if that long, the court in Texas, and I want to tell y'all, this is not some liberal court, like liberal courts in Texas don't even really go together. This was a 2-1 Republican majority court. And what did they say? They said, oh, plaintiffs, y'all want to temporarily enjoin them because, see, the damage will already be done. Those voices would always already be diluted.